I represent the Bear Education and Resource Group, and really our mission is to protect black bears and their habitat, to educate people so that they can learn how to coexist with the bears, because truly black bears are non-aggressive and very timid animals. They really don't want anything to do with humans.
Except our fishermen's.
We'll get, yes. This is our mission statement. As I said, to protect black bears and their habitat. We educate the public to become what we call a bear smart community, which basically means we teach people what to do so that they don't bring black bears into their neighborhoods. Some people want black bears in their neighborhoods. They love them. But unfortunately, your neighbor may not. Your neighbor may be very afraid. So we teach people what to do so that the bears don't even want to come into your residential area. We like to teach people also that they're not really animals to be afraid of. And the hype that you hear from the media and those groups that would like to make people think that the black bears are so dangerous, therefore they needed to be killed, they really don't. They really don't. We can peacefully coexist. What you're seeing here is the gentleman on the right is Dr. Lynn Rogers. And actually, those are some Bear Group members that went up to visit. He has a research institute, a whole area up in Minnesota, very near Canada, where he has been studying black bears for over 40 years. His first experience with a black bear was that he couldn't wait to kill his first black bear. And when he had his gun or his rifle, and he was ready, and he saw his first black bear when he was 16, he said as soon as the black bear saw him, the black bear was so afraid, it turned and ran away from him. From that point on, Dr. Rogers decided at a young age, 16, that he did not want to kill them, he does want to study them. And what he's using here is telemetry. When the cubs are born, he radio collars them. And of course, he changes the radio collars as they get older. And he learns and studies them because he can locate them with the telemetry. He can find where different bears are. He has a wonderful website. It's bearstudy.org, and he has videos of females not actually giving birth, but they're in their den giving birth. You can't see it, but all of a sudden you'll see two little heads pop out, the two little cubs. We want to bust some myths, and some of the myths about black bears are that they're aggressive, that they're going to eat our children, that they're going to attack us, and none of that is true. I will show you what the bear vocalizations, which basically means they make different sounds, and we teach people what the sounds actually mean. We're going to talk about their positions, what that means, where the bear densities, where it's most dense for black bears. And if you look at the pictures on the bottom, those are actually grizzlies. I don't know if you know, Casey Anderson has a wonderful show, Grizzly Encounters. It's on Nat Geo Wild. And do you know it? And he actually discovered two grizzly cubs when he was a young man, and the mother was dead. And one of the cubs died very soon after that. But he brought up the other cub, and the other cub is now a 900-pound grizzly, and his name is Brutus. And there are wonderful shows on Nat Geo Wild showing you Brutus. He is trained by Casey Anderson, but grizzlies are much more aggressive, although in the case of Brutus and Casey Anderson, Brutus thinks Casey is his father. And you're looking at Dr. Lynn Rogers, and he is petting a cub. Because another fallacy is people say, oh, don't get between the mother and the cub. That's more with grizzlies. Black bears teach their cubs right away to climb a tree if they're in danger. The mother makes a sound, or she taps the floor, and the cubs know right away they're to go up the tree, and the mother will make a sound when it's safe for the cubs to come down. So the mother will not attack you. She will probably go up the tree, or she could even leave the area and come back when you're gone. We'll talk about bluff charges a little further in.
Petting
Oh yes, and The mother bear is Blackheart. And when Blackheart was born, Dr. Rogers was there. So Blackheart is very used to Dr. Rogers. And Blackheart, she's watching, but she's perfectly fine with him petting the cub. We don't suggest that anybody go up to cubs and start petting them in the wild, because it's a totally different situation here. You don't want to frighten the bears. You don't want them to get used to being around humans in our area. This is a research institute. This is totally different. But bears out in the real wild, we don't want them comfortable. We don't want them comfortable with humans. We want to show them that we're the alpha. Go away, bad bear. These are sounds that the bears make. This is a cub in distress. The cub is upset. This is a conversation that he recorded. Am I on it? Here. This is a family conversation. This is nursing cubs. Very rhythmic. The next one is actually a bear that's in trouble. He could have been shot, he could be snared. A snare is a trap that will go around their foot, and the more they pull, the tighter the wire gets. Or any kind of situation where the bear is hurt. It's like he's lamenting. And this is the sounds of a cub and mother. Now the next one, I've actually heard the police say on television that when you hear this, it means they're going to attack. It does not. Blowing and chomping is what the bear does when it's afraid. It's when it's afraid. It doesn't mean it's going to attack. They don't attack. But they're afraid, and they salivate. And they go, and when it's not mating time for the bear, which is usually about every 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years, the female doesn't want anything to do with the male. The male has nothing to do with bringing up the cubs, nothing. The male is just to keep the species going, and when a male wants to get with the female again and she's not ready, this is the sound she makes. Go away. I am going to have to go through some of the slides quickly because we don't have as much. This is usually an hour, this presentation. What you're looking at there are saber-toothed tigers, which were around before the end of the last ice age. On the right here is what's called a short-faced bear. There are none of these left anymore. But what we're showing here is this bear right there is this one. That's the size. This is the black bear. That's a grizzly. So the size comparison shows that the short-faced bear, the one on the left, is much bigger than the grizzly or the black bear. And it was during this time, before the last ice age ended, that the black bears learned to climb trees because that was their only escape route. That was their only escape route. They are the prey. They are the prey. They're not the predators. They climb a tree to get away. That's all they do. Their claws are not sharp for hurting you. Their claws are sharp enough to climb a tree. That's it. That's the skeleton of the short-faced bear, which, as I said, is not around anymore. But when it was, at its shoulders, it was 5 feet across, and it was 12 feet high, and it went after the grizzlies and the black bears. Actually, it probably went after everything. Bears are actually healthy for the environment. They like to be in the forest because they feel safe, because they can climb trees. They replant trees by when they drop their scat after they've eaten, then their seeds, they're reseeding the forest as they go. They also eat tent caterpillars. They eat the insects that we don't want in the forests. They keep the forests of New Jersey healthy. I'm going to come back. I'm going to get into this in another slide. When that bear is standing up like that, the average person will say, oh my God, they're going to attack. That has nothing to do with it. What he's doing or she's doing is they're either standing up to get a better view of what's going on, or they're trying to get the berries that are higher up on the tree. It has nothing to do with an attack. They're very, very intelligent animals. They're considered to be one of the most intelligent mammals. And the reason we know that they have long-term memory is because when a cub is taught by its mother a certain route, this is the route we take to get water, this is the route we take to get food, that cub knows it after the mother's gone. And when that cub, if that's a female cub and grows up and has her own cubs, she teaches that route to her cubs, which is one of the reasons why we're seeing bears in residential neighborhoods, because houses are going up everywhere in New Jersey. We've taken away the land that the bears lived on, and sometimes the bears are still going through that same area. The bear on the scale is actually eating out of a trough, and this is how Dr. Rogers weighs them. When a newborn is born, they weigh anywhere between 8 and 16 ounces. That's it, 8 to 16 ounces. The average female weighs about 200. The average male weighs about 300. But weight of bears varies tremendously from the time they come out of hibernation to the time they go into hibernation. They are their heaviest when they go into hibernation. The natural lifespan is 21 to 33 years. They don't have their first litter until ages anywhere between 3 and 11 years old. Now, they are considered a self-regulating species because if they don't have enough food, and if the female, if her weight gets too close to 145 when she's in her den, this is when she gives birth. She gives birth in the winter. If her weight drops too close to 145, the embryos will just be absorbed by her body. She will not give birth. So this is a sign of a self-regulating species, which basically really means if people didn't put the garbage out, that's their favorite food, garbage. They like to go in and eat our garbage. They like to go in and eat our birdseed. If people didn't make that available to the black bears would have to just eat what's in the forests. Their weight would not be up as high as it could be, and they would have less cubs, is really what happens. And if her weight is maybe 150, 155, 160, and she was going to give birth to 2 cubs, she may just give birth to 1, and it may be an unhealthy one. So this is nature's way of really regulating the number of bears. Usually the bears are making their dens for winter in the fall. And dens can be anywhere. They could be under someone's deck. If it's a house where no one's living in, they want to go to quiet places. It could be under rocks. It doesn't have to be in a cave. But mom teaches them right away to create their own dens. As soon as they come out of their den, when she's given birth, she teaches them how to forage for food and how to create their own dens and how to climb a tree to get away from danger. These are the 5 stages of hibernation. The 5 stages the bears go through. When they're in hibernation, they use the least amount of calories, and still it's 4,000 calories a day. They burn mainly body fat. They don't eat, they don't drink, and they don't defecate, and they don't urinate, and they have no renal failure. So with all of this,
How?
that I don't know, but I just know that's the way the species is. When they go into hibernation, they don't eat anymore. That's why when they go in, they want to be, they know they need to be as fat as possible. They live off their body fat. But they live off their body fat. They don't eat, they don't drink, they don't urinate, they don't defecate, which it doesn't poison their body. Their heart goes down, their heart rate goes down to something like 6 or 8 beats a minute. It's tiny.
Is it true when they hibernate that everything, a lot of the stuff they have eaten, forms a plug in their ear in order so they don't?
Well, I just know that they don't. I'm not quite sure if that's the reason why, though. When they first come out of hibernation, they're very sluggish, they're very slow, they're not, I used to think, oh my God, they're ravenous when they first come out. They're not. They're slow, they're sluggish, and there isn't really a whole lot of food around until green up, until things start to grow. So for 2 to 3 weeks after they come out of hibernation, it's called walking hibernation, and they're kind of slow, their metabolism's going up a little bit. They eat voluntarily, they drink, but not like they will in the fall. Normal activity is late spring, summer, and then they go into what's called hyperphagia. This is before the fall transition. Hyperphagia is when they're eating like a bear. They're eating up 15 to 20,000 calories a day, and they're drinking several gallons of water. When they go into fall transition, they're getting ready to go into hibernation again. Their eating slows down again, but they drink gallons and gallons of water, and they're purging their system. Even though they're not eating a lot, they are purging their system to get rid of the waste so that when they do go into hibernation, they survive. The female usually becomes impregnated around June. There's no exact, it could be May, June, July. The embryos don't develop. Yes, oh, it's 5 minutes? Okay, let me just, the embryos don't develop right away. They kind of float around until November, and if her weight isn't up there, they will not implant. She will not develop the embryos. We're not going to get into that then. These are just some statistics to show you there's so much more for us to be afraid of, and black bears are not one of them. These are some statistics in New Jersey of what does go on and where we are not safe. This picture, this pie graph on the left, shows you a 24-hour cycle in New Jersey of crime, just in New Jersey. In that same 24 hours, bears, 10 calls may go into the police in New Jersey or to the Division of Fish and Wildlife saying something like, I saw a bear. So they're not a threat. I live in bear country and I'm not at all afraid. There were some deaths caused by black bears, but what I always say here, there have been many deaths caused by dogs. I had German Shepherds. I know they can be, I had to watch one of them real closely. He didn't like people. There's 18 deaths over 106 years that were caused by black bears. Most of them were up in Alaska. And actually, killing bears doesn't work because what happens is other bears just come into their territory. If people still put their garbage out and their bird seed or their attractants, other bears will just come in. Even though the bear that used to be there was killed, the rest just move in. So it's really a problem. If people could stop feeding the bears intentionally or unintentionally, the bears would really just stay out in the woods.
Like the signs in Jellystones.
Right. And this picture down here shows a very persistent bear. That's a bird feeder, which we suggest people take down from March to December. He wants the food. They want the food. They don't want us, but they do want the food we leave out for them. There is a feeding ban law. Unfortunately, it's not enforced. But there is a law that we're not allowed to intentionally or unintentionally feed the bears. There are special garbage cans that make it very difficult for a bear to get in. You have to screw it around 4 times, and it's difficult for them to get into it. I've had some for 10 years, and they've never gotten in mine. What do you do if you see a black bear on your turf? You either make yourself look really big, you take an umbrella and shoot, you say, "Go away, bad bear." I take an air horn. I'm not afraid, but if my neighbors are afraid, I'll take an air horn and blast it. They don't want us. You be the alpha on your own turf. Don't give them a reason to want to be there. Don't have the food out.
So I treat them like the deer that are eating my
You want to make them go away. But if you meet the bear on its turf, down you're meeting it in its territory, just stop, cherish the moment, take a picture, let it go. It doesn't want you. It does not want you unless you're carrying a pizza. It wants the pizza. It does not want you. So in its own turf, just let it go, and it will go. It'll know you're there. Chances are it's gone before you could even know it's there. This is very cute at the end. We just want to show you. Hope you learned a lot. Our fate is in your hands. It's afraid of a cat. All right? It's afraid of a cat. Do I backspace or? Okay, they're nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. That doesn't mean the danger is zero. I wouldn't leave a baby out alone with a bottle and a dirty diaper. They love dirty diapers. They love dirty diapers. Any questions? Are you a little bit less afraid?
Yeah.
Good, really. I'm not afraid, and I don't consider myself a brave person. I'm not.
Almost want me to convinced me to have one as a pet.
Oh, well, no, we don't want that either. We don't want that either.
I know.
Okay. We want to leave them alone. Let them be.